I, 41-year-old female, have 3 sons, twins, who are 12 years old, and a 10-year-old. All of my sons started doing chores around 8 and started getting allowances for their chores at 10 years old. Chores are only mandatory 5 days out of the week. I don't care what time of day. They choose to get them done, as long as they are done by the end of the day. I made it clear to my boys once they started earning money that they would be getting $10 a day for every day they complete their chore. If they fail to do so, then $10 would be deducted. It has been that way for 2 years for my eldest boys and a couple of months for the youngest. Allowance is always paid out every Wednesday, and I encourage them to save enough to take with them on the weekend to their dads in case they go somewhere fun or see something cool that they might want, but dad might not be okay with spending money on. This system has worked swimmingly for us since it started. The boys have always complied with completing their chores. However, one of my 12-year-olds refused to do his chore of the week, sweeping downstairs and wiping down surfaces, for 3 days. The first 2 days he did so without a problem. But when his friend asked him to play on Fortnite with him, my son asked for 15 minutes to complete his chore before he got onto the PlayStation. His friend asked what chore he had to do, so my son told him. In response, my son's friend said, "It's a good thing my parents don't make me do girl chores." I spoke with my son and explained to him that knowing how to clean was not specific to any gender, that it was a life skill everyone needed to know. I also told him that I understood that other families functioned differently. However, in our family, everyone did an equal share. Even after speaking with him the first day he decided not to do his chore, he still chose not to do his chores. So as agreed, I took $10 out of his allowance for each day he didn't do, which allotted to him only having $20 in his allowance, whereas his brothers had $50. The problem comes where my son was so upset about the lack of money in his allowance that he called his dad about it, very upset. My ex-husband then proceeded to call me and tell me that I'm in the wrong for only giving him $20 and to imagine how it makes him feel that his brothers got more than he did. I explained to him that our other sons actually did their chores for all 5 days, so they were rewarded accordingly, and assured him that if he had decided to start giving the boys an allowance, then he can run the allowance however he wanted. But this was ultimately the system I had come up with. My ex-husband told me that I am being insensitive and humiliating our son. Am I the idiot? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. It is a great life lesson that people who do the work get paid. People who don't. Up to your son which path he chooses to take. Mild semantic. You are not taking $10 away for days they don't work. You are just not paying them. If you were taking away, he would owe you $10, 2 days of work for $20, 3 days of no work costing $30, leaves him $10 in the hole. You might consider that in the future $15 for working, cost of $5 for housing, food, etc., to let them earn up to $75 against always owing $25. Not working means dipping into savings. Learn it while it is painless at 12 versus moving back home at 30. Final point. Their dad's complaint is why we have so many kids with a mile-wide sense of entitlement. So what if you refuse to do the work? You get the same allowance. Of course, your son would probably prefer losing the allowance over no video games or non-school related phone/tablet/computer until the chores are done. Comment 2. I made it clear to my boys once they started earning money that they would be getting $10 a day for every day they complete their chore. If they failed to do so, then $10 would be deducted. He knew the consequences of not doing his assigned work. He chose not to do it. Therefore, he doesn't get paid. You are not the idiot, and by sticking to your rules, you teach your son that his choices have consequences. Comment 3. Not the idiot. You are teaching your sons valuable life skills. You work hard, you get rewarded. By paying the one son who did not do his chores, then you will erase all the wonderful years of teaching you have done. I love your system. Great job, Mom. Plus, it's your house, your rules. Your ex needs to stay out of it. Now, for the next story. My 13-year-old son, Theo, is best friends with a girl in his class who was diagnosed with brain cancer in November. She's undergoing chemotherapy and ended up losing her hair, which was obviously really hard on her. His peers are starting to get to that age where they're absorbed with appearances and have decided that everyone needs to fit into a norm. A few people made some less than kind comments about her and how she looks without hair. Theo came home last week and told me he wanted to shave his head. I made him think it over a bit to make sure it's what he wanted because he'd been pretty attached to it over the past several months and had been growing it out. He was adamant that he was certain it was what he wanted, and my husband shaved his head for him last night. That was possibly the happiest I've ever seen him. I asked him if he would miss his hair, and he told me, still grinning ear to ear, that he didn't care what his hair looked like. It would grow back, and it made his friend happy. He FaceTimed his friend afterwards to show her, and it was just incredibly sweet. Today I got a call from his teacher that a couple of students had been pestering Theo about his hair, even after he explained that he did it for his friend. She tried to claim that Theo's hair was distracting the other students, and that she was giving him permission to wear hats to school, usually against dress code, to reinstate the order that he disrupted. I told her that he would not be wearing a hat and diminishing the entire sentiment behind him shaving his head just because his classmates are being bullies, and told her she was being insensitive to not just Theo, but to his friend, who really is the only one who matters at the moment. My husband told me that the way I reacted, while justified, was rude and may have repercussions for Theo. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Ask your husband if he would feel the same way if Theo was being told he was disrupting the order of the classroom because he needed crutches, a puffer, had an odd-looking birthmark on his face, needed an aide, etc., and the students were bullying him for it, and so was the teacher. Your son just shaved his head. Many boys and men shave their heads. It's not disruptive in the slightest and should not be treated as such. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Sounds to me like you have raised a loving boy. I would contact the school board head and have them try and justify this teacher's reaction. Rather than deal with it in a professional manner, which is to sort the bullies out, they have tried to shift the responsibility onto Theo. I don't think the way you have reacted is rude, but your husband is right. The teacher might start being vindictive. Comment 3. Not the idiot. You are not rude. You responded sensibly to something insane. And if the teacher so much as gives Theo a dirty look over this, go full Karanzilla to administrators. It's justified. FWIW. I am normally a person who says parents should support teachers running their own classrooms as they see fit, but this is obviously a clear exception. Now, for the next story. I am an 18-year-old female, and I have low contact with my family. I am the youngest and only girl in a family dominated by men. I have experienced constant jokes, sly comments, and criticism for everything. After turning 18 in April, I left my dad's house and moved in with my maternal aunt. My parents are divorced, and I have no relationship with my mom. I see my family on special occasions, and I respond if my dad, his wife, or my brothers text, but I don't go out of my way to talk to them. They have asked me why, but I don't give them a clear answer because I don't need them to deny the truth. Last week was my dad's birthday, and my boyfriend Oliver and I went to his house to celebrate with the rest of the family. Oliver came with me for support because I wouldn't have gone without it. Everything was fine until we sat down for food. My dad started talking about my job and how I wouldn't accomplish anything because I didn't go to college. His wife commented on my outfit and asked if I worked as a prostitute. My brothers made comments about the food I was eating and accused me of being pregnant because I wasn't drinking and my stomach looked big. They have done this many times before and it often made me cry. This time, I decided enough was enough and stood up for myself. I told them that I was tired of being treated poorly and that I no longer needed them in my life. I am an adult and deserve to be treated with respect. Oliver and I left, which made them angry. Once I returned to Oliver's house, I received calls and texts from the family, calling me embarrassing and saying I couldn't take a joke. My brother called and said that while I was out of line, they wouldn't mention it again if I came back, but I declined. Oliver and my aunt support me, but my aunt thinks I should hear them out, and now I'm conflicted. Comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot, not the asterisk hole. You have two options. A. Continue to tolerate mistreatment from your family while they make cruel jokes at your expense, or be seen as a bad person for not accepting it. Most people in your family agree with option A. B. Stand up for yourself and show them that they can't treat you that way if they want you to be part of their lives. Show them that you deserve better and refuse to give in to their ill treatment. Your boyfriend agrees with this because he cares about you. Your aunt also cares, but her belief in humanity is naive if she thinks you should immediately return to them because they promise not to harm you this time. Let them sit with the consequences of their actions and show them that you mean business. Option B is the clear winner. and you should be proud of yourself. Comment 2. Not the idiot. They are not joking. They are sexist, ignorant, and abusive. Your life will improve once you remove them from it. Consider going no contact and seeking therapy to help with the trauma you have experienced. You deserve better. Comment 3. You are the family scapegoat of narcissistic abuse, and your aunt may be enabling this behavior if she is encouraging reconciliation. Let her know that the responsibility for reconciliation lies with the family members for their verbal abuse, and it is their job to change, not yours to appease them. Stay strong, even though the next decade may be difficult until they realize that you are serious. Now for the next story. I, 30 years old female, am meant to attend my friend's 31 years old female, sister's 29 years old female, wedding this weekend 2 days from now. I have genuinely been looking forward to this. I have bought 4 different dresses, excessive I know, but I couldn't decide. New shoes, a bag, and accessories, all just for this wedding. I was excited to celebrate the day with friends, and more selfishly, it was going to be my first time away from my young daughter. I love my daughter, but I was enjoying the thought of not being solely at her beck and call for a couple of days. My daughter has been ill since last week. She has had a fever, not eating or drinking, and developed a rash and blisters on her hands, feet, and mouth. Yesterday, I also became ill, starting with an incredibly sore throat and headaches, and it has developed into a fever and also blisters on my hands. I got an appointment with a local pharmacist, and they confirmed that we both have hand, foot, and mouth disease, which is highly contagious. They advised me to have as little contact with others as possible until over the infectious period, which can be 7-10 days. Yesterday, I messaged my friend, advising her of the situation and stating that I would not be able to attend the wedding, which I am really disappointed about. I also messaged her sister, the bride, and explained and apologized as well, and have stated that I'm happy to pay if they are out of pocket due to my absence. My friend messaged me back today, basically saying that I am the idiot for it being so short notice, that there's nothing they can do now, and they can't invite someone else. She also mentioned that she's incredibly disappointed in me and doesn't have words for me right now. On top of feeling physically bad from being ill, I now feel like a complete jerk and feel really crappy. I understand it's infuriating because it's so last minute, and I would be a little pissed too if it was me, but it's not intentional, and it's out of my control. I've done my best in the situation by offering to financially reimburse the bride, so I don't really know what else to do. Am I the idiot? I'll add in an edit. The bride has not messaged me at all and is not the one that is verbalizing discontent. It's my friend who is doing this. However, neither the bride nor my friend have replied to my latest messages, which I am presuming, as my friend read my message yesterday without replying and only replied today, is them ignoring me as they have been online. Edit 2. I did initially have my daughter seen last week when she initially became ill and had a fever, etc. However, they told me she was just teething, which coincidentally, she is. I then further took her back this week when she developed her rash and blisters. While there, I expressed that I too was ill and was diagnosed with hand, foot, and mouth disease as well. Now here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Your friend is being entirely unreasonable and ridiculous. What part of highly contagious doesn't she understand? It would be selfish of you to go ahead and join the party while contagious. It would put not only your friend, but all the other guests at risk. Comment 2. Not the idiot. The alternative is showing up to a large event and spreading disease. Once again, I need to trot out, have these people been living under a rock for the last 3+ years? They are another example that indicates we don't deserve to survive as a species. Comment 3. Not the idiot, but your friend totally is. The only way you would be the idiot in this situation is if you did attend the wedding knowing you were exposing everyone there. People who get mad at others for getting sick are the absolute worst. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.